Hey, how are you guys? It is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. Now, in this video, I actually want to share with you guys some books that I found really valuable over the course of my sales, especially like being the one doing the work, going out, meeting people, closing the deal, following up with my project team to make deals happen. And I got to read a lot of books in that time, and I want to share with you guys some of the books that I think are very worth reading and why they're worth reading. And you're probably in the car, you're going out to clients' offices, you're waiting for things to happen. Reading books is the fastest way to gain knowledge insanely quickly. I'm a big audio guy as opposed to a physical book person because I can listen to it in the car. I can listen to it on the train when I was on Long Island, going to the city, whatever it may be. It was just a great resource for me to plug in some headphones and start crushing books left and right. It almost got to the point where I was crushing a book or two per week because I was doing so much traveling between meetings, and they helped a lot. A lot of these books are really important. I'm going to go through all of them with you. Before we get into today's video, I do want to invite you to check out my masterclass. It's 50 minutes down below, 5 ways to close significantly more deals. Some of these books are also going to have something to do with that, help you close some more deals. And 2, if you're interested in my online course, I am in the process of already building an online course. It's going to cover about 35 different topics so far that is going to help you from A to Z closing more deals in the sales world. Objections, prospecting, cold emails, everything in an extremely detailed and thorough format. You're going to see me. I won't be standing. I'll be sitting down, but we're going to get to know each other really well, and you're going to learn the exact recipes that I used to help scale a MSP from 2 million to 6 million in 2 years. So let's get into today's video. So like I said, I already covered how to read books. It is the best thing in the world. I'm looking for my AirPods here. Thought they were on my desk. But you could just drop some headphones in your ears and start listening to a book. And the nice part is I love self-development books. I don't read because I find it fun. I'd much rather play video games or watch TV or a movie for fun. But I read to learn and make myself better. Now, my book list is, I want to say, well over 100 books of books that I've listened to, and my wish list and books that I'm going to be getting is like well into the 400s because I constantly love to learn and see what people's thoughts are. Now, one thing I will tell you about audiobooks that I don't love is it is a pain in the butt to remember what it is. I would love to go through and have a physical book with me. And I'm going to include links to everything down below. They are affiliate links. It does help me out if you do buy it. Or if you're just buying something on Amazon and you want to support my channel, click on one of those links and buy whatever you want. Just you click on that link, it gives me the credit as long as that was the most recent link click. If you want to support the channel and you find this stuff valuable, but you're not ready to commit in any other way, that's cool. Other than liking and subscribing, because that's totally free. But a lot of these books have drastically helped me grow my business. It's helped other people grow their business and ultimately helped a lot of people I know, including myself, close more deals in sales. So I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to share my screen. It's me. It's just me. This is cool though. We're getting to know each other. So first and foremost, arguably one of my favorite books, took me a long time to read it actually, is Never Split the Difference. Now, what I will say is with this book specifically, you're going to end up wanting to read it probably 2, if not 3 times. It's a great book. I think Chris Voss does a really good job at explaining how to never split the difference. He is a hostage negotiator, and basically what he uses his techniques and teaches them to you in this book. This is definitely a book I would get a physical copy of while you're reading it so you can go through and highlight or put sticky notes on areas that are going to be extremely beneficial to you. I've listened to the book once now and plan on going through it again in the very near future, next time I travel or drive. That's the only bad part. I work from home, so I don't really get in the car much anymore, but if you do, it's worth its weight in gold. I do make it a point, cutting lawn, working on the house, to throw on a audiobook. So second thing, Automatic Customer. This is a recent read in the last year or so. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the nice part is it teaches and talks a lot about not only building and getting a new customer, but teaching you the lifetime value of a customer, which we don't really talk about much. And I'm going to make videos about this in the future, but having a quality or some kind of idea or way to understand the value of a long-term customer and how to actually get and grow them is tremendous. I actually took a lot of what I learned with the Automatic Customer and helped implement it for a SaaS company, several SaaS companies specifically. And it is incredible being the marketer to teach other people about this book and just the concepts It is so freaking good. I cannot even begin to explain it. And the reason why it's good is like I said, it's that automatic customer. But if you're not going to read the book and you want like the golden nugget right here, do whatever you can to close the deal and make the customer fall in love with the service, and they'll stay with you forever, is really the main concept of the book in a very vague way. But getting people to get used to putting in tickets and reaching out when they need help and addressing things before they come up, and really getting people, when I say involved in your ecosystem, I mean like really involved, like understanding when to call tech support, how to troubleshoot the basic stuff, you know, how to file a ticket correctly, how to get support quickly, all of these things. Great book. Highly, highly, highly recommend The Automatic Customer. It was a great book. Next is the 10X rule. I don't care if you like Grant Cardone or you don't like Grant Cardone, but I read this book. I've read this book 3 times now. It's just a great book to get you the motivation you need to go do something and think larger. If you're like, hey, I'm only, targeting clients with 2 people in it, then I need to 10X, right? You want 20 people. And what I will say, and what I actually really like about this book, is Grant Cardone talks, and he also has done this on several different videos, but if you do watch him, I've actually helped a couple people in the MSP world with this principle. If you are the person who works in restaurants for their IT services, that's good. But just don't try to be everything to everybody. Go just find more people that want your stuff. If you sell one specific thing, that's fine. You can be infinitely successful. Amazon, ironically enough, the website we're on currently, started selling books, but they became the best at selling books online. All you have to do is be the best in your industry and you'll make millions and millions and millions of dollars. Don't be the IT company that wants to work with everybody. Be the IT company that wants to work with one specific set of the market and own it completely. Kind of like what I'm doing with my stuff. While yes, I can help just about anybody, I have obviously found a niche helping MSP and IT owners make significantly more money. That is now my niche, and that's how I'm helping people grow. Same kind of principle. I have a recipe for success that I'm teaching on YouTube and in my online course and in my masterclass. I'm not going to go try to sell it to people that own restaurants or to door-to-door salespeople who sell vacuum cleaners. I'm just making things up at this point, but these people exist, right? Or pest control. There's other people in other industries that can do that. I don't need to be the one for everybody. I just need to be the best. And based on what I've seen on YouTube, I am the best or one of the best people at teaching sales and sales processes and marketing to MSP and IT owners. That's what I do. 10X rule, same kind of principle. Go find those people. You will make significantly more money. And it has been, I've picked up more coaching students. People are making more money than they've ever thought about making because they sit down with me and go over through a discovery call after the masterclass, which is really cool. So I get to impact some people's lives. The Little Red Book of Selling. Now, I'm going to not lie. I never read this book, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when I was in sales training, this is a book that they did say to read. And the reason why I didn't read it, well, I have it open on my screen now, is because something I messed up with my Amazon account. I had to make a new one a handful of years back. It was actually no longer in my Audible. I had to start a whole new Audible. My account got hacked or something like that. Super weird. But because of that, and I didn't use 2-factor authentication. Please don't come after me for it. But this was recommended by my multiple sales coaches that this is a fantastic book. I wanted to include it. It is, I think, one of the only books in here that I haven't read yet. It is on my list to read. It is arguably one of the best sales books, from what I understand, ever written. Highly recommend it. Once again, I haven't read it yet, so I don't want anyone to be mad at me, but it's worth it. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I'm cursing. I apologize. But if you are terrified of making sales, talking to somebody in person, Zoom, whatever, if you are a hardcore introvert and your fear is that people around you are judging you in one way or another, this book is the book. I have listened to it probably twice now. I actually owned a physical copy pre-house fire of the book. It is fantastic. It was actually given to me because my old sales coach was like, Harrison, you are this book. You should still read it, but you probably don't need to. And I read it and I go, I am this book. It is 100% true. It is so worth it. It just teaches you not to care about 99% of stuff because nobody else cares about it either, right? You're worried about a little stain on your shirt. If you're worried about it, just don't even address it, or look, hey, I just came from lunch. We're all human. Spilled a little ketchup on me. No big deal. Let's get into the sales call. Done. Like, do not care about it. It teaches you how to like remove yourself from the situation. It's a fantastic book. Well worth it. Arguably one of my favorite ones. And I buy it for other people when they are struggling with issues in their life that they need to kind of get over. It's a good book in that regard. Grow. Just listen to this one. Bomb book. Now, this is going to be more of a marketing book, which I'm going to be getting more into marketing in the near future. This is more of a marketing book. Highly recommend it. I was blown away at how good it is. Another notable mention on similar concepts is They Ask, You Answer. And I'm actually going to throw these up here. But They Ask, You Answer is a fantastic book by Marcus Sheridan. He's involved with HubSpot. It's a great platform if you're interested in a CRM. Not the one I'm currently recommending, just because it's really expensive. Other than that, it's a great platform. And I am a HubSpot partner. But other than that, just another great book. I would highly recommend. If you're looking to build traffic to your website, get more leads over time without having to go do the sales activities, these are probably the number 1 and number 2 books that I would recommend. They're interchangeable. I read They Ask You Answer first, and then Grow. Grow's more of like a long-term sales pitch, where I feel like They Ask You Answer is a much more content-rich, giving you the secret sauce ideas. Secrets of Closing the Sale, Zig Ziglar. This is the second one that I actually have not read yet. But what I will say is it is on my list of downloaded books to go read. I think it's this next book that I have to read. But I've heard it's really, really good. I did go through like a quick, brief overview of it. It's, from what I heard so far, it's incredible. I just have other books that I'm reading in the meantime. So I think this is the second book that I haven't read on this list, but it is a notable mention. It is in my Audible as well. This one, fantastic book. If you stink at talking to people and you're worried about talking to people, How to Talk to Anyone, 92 Little Tricks for Big Success in Relationships. This is a book that I would say keep in your car and read it before you go into a meeting. Networking event, meeting, anything where you're going to be potentially meeting people. This is a fantastic book. Probably not one that I would like read front to back in a couple days. One that I would like go to every once in a while to learn a different technique on how to talk to somebody. I have no problems talking to people, but I do know that's what people struggle with. I did listen to the whole book myself just purely because I wanted to see what they taught. Because people ask me, I'm a pretty aggressive reader. People want to know. That's all. That's why I read it. It's a great book. It teaches you a lot of ways to talk to people. What else do you want from it? But it's like, it's very good. It's very actionable. There's really no fat in the book. Otherwise, it's like super concise in that regard. And the ratings kind of fall in line with that. It really is a good book. How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, especially if you're a business owner. This is huge. This is another one at least once a year. You got to listen to it once a year. I'm due this year for it, but I've listened to it probably 5 or 6 times in the past. It's just so good. It's just such a good book. Obviously, I don't need to dive into what it says. How to Win Friends and Influence People. There's 11,000 ratings. 111,000 ratings. It is clearly a good book. It is fantastic. I highly recommend it. If you haven't listened to it already, all these books should be on your reading list if you're looking to grow in the MSP world. I left a lot of the stuff that I wouldn't recommend right off the bat to MSPs. I left that out. This is just purely what I would say. If you need some books, if you can crush a book a week, you're talking about what? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months maybe, depending on some of these. Some of them are pretty long. I listen to them. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Simple, no-brainer. Ready, Fire, Aim. This is what I truly believe to my core. Now, this book is something that I just needed somebody to tell me it was okay. It was what I was already doing. And a lot of it is literally what it says. Ready, fire, aim. Ready. I think I said ready, aim, fire. It's ready, fire, aim. And the whole premise is if you're ready, take action and then figure out how to correct it down the road, right? Obviously, you don't want to do this with customer information, customer data. But like if you're like, hey, I'm going to go start a marketing campaign, start it, figure out where to fix it down the road. You have an idea, go do it. Fix, tweak, modify, adjust, make minute adjustments over time, and you're going to get to where you want to go. But that is, in my opinion, the fastest way, and it works so freaking well in so many industries. As long as you want to commit to the process of ready, fire, aim, you're ready, start it, and aim it down the road instead of aiming and getting everything perfect and then firing. That's the main difference in this whole book, but they do a really good job at explaining it. There's some pretty cool life lessons that I took out of Michael's book as well. He talks a lot about his like personal life and what he does too, and how he made so much money for other people. It's just really fantastic. It really is. It's a great book. And a lot of people, and the reason why this book is on here is because a lot of people that I've met through coaching, whether it's a discovery call or they need regular coaching with me or mentoring with me, which is cool, and if that's something you're interested in, leave a comment or go through the masterclass. You'll see the option to book a meeting with me, and then I'll figure out if I want to work with you, basically, is what we kind of figure out. And I give you some free tips along the way and help you get over it. But the big thing is with this book, a lot of MSP owners and new salespeople don't understand that they just need to go out and do it and then fix things over time. There's no other way that you're going to be able to start an MSP, grow it, make money in sales. You have to just go out, attack it, and figure out what you did right and what you did wrong. In my last video with sales objections, you're going to have to hear that 100 times before you get as good as I am to just say the answer immediately. No thought. In the situation, in the moment, under the pressure of you knowing that you may need to close that deal, it takes time, and that's okay. This book gives you the permission to just go do it instead of overthinking it. That's really what this book is. Next book, Compound Effect. I don't think I really need to get too much into it, but the compounding effect is do it every single day. If you know that you can do something or you can automate something to make your life easier, especially in the MSP world, marketing, sales outreach, cold calling, anything that you can do on a regular basis to make a better result down the road, this is another no-brainer. It's really good. It talks about your life, your success, your income. It's just overall a really, really good book. Can't recommend it enough. This is definitely one that you want to listen to later on after you've kind of like gotten in the groove of making sales, but picking up a phone and making 100 cold calls sucks. But if you do it every day, that's 500 calls a day. You do that 4 times a month. You do it over the course of four weeks a month. It's 2,000 phone calls. Even if your close ratio is 1% of that, if you only make 100 phone calls a month, you might get one deal. If you close 1% of 2,000, now you're at 20 deals. You got a full pipeline. You got money coming in like crazy. This is part of what that kind of explains and goes into and how to get better with things. The E-Myth. This was recommended to me, but also was like, hey, you're in the digital space. It doesn't really work. But if you're in an MSP, this is a no-brainer. It just gives you a really good idea and insight into 2 things. 1, how you can run your company, but 2, how other people run their company and how you as an MSP can go out and make their day and make their company better. Or you're making their day better because you're removing the stress of something going wrong, and you're making their company better because you understand what the business owner thinks and how that company operates. And by you helping them be more efficient by being a managed solutions provider, as well as a managed service provider, or an MSSP, managed solutions and service provider, will make a massive difference in your business. Can't recommend it enough. It is a book that I listened to. I actually thought it was pretty good. And it's definitely one that I would recommend, especially new business owners in that regard. Building a Story Brand. No-brainer. This is probably one of the last books you should read, though. It is great for companies that have made some kind of money. I would not recommend reading this book right off the get-go. It's probably going to be too much, and it's going to distract you a lot from immediate profit and wins in your pocket. But after you've hit a couple $1,000 in recurring revenue, and you're looking to really build a brand and a company that's going to grow for the rest of your days, this is a banger of a book, Building a Story Brand. This is another one that I would probably say after you're at that like several $1,000 a month MRR, read this book once a year. That's probably a once a year book. Extreme Ownership, fantastic book. It just teaches you how to be a better leader. Even though I was in sales, I mean, I led the team, the project team. I helped management, helped lead them through areas that we were terrified of, or I was terrified of, or my team was terrified of. It's just taking ownership and being a better leader. For those of you that don't know, I was an Eagle Scout and a fireman for 10 years, volunteer. But the reason why I'm saying that is because I wanted to be a better leader. This book tremendously helps. And while in the MSP world, you're not dealing with people's lives and dangerous stuff, you are in the volunteer service world or the service world in general. It was something that I thought would be really, really good to read and learn, and I did for multiple areas, but the amount of impact that this book had on non-trained professionals. The volunteer fire service, we have plenty of training. Being an officer, training, safety, proper protocols, standard operating procedures, everything that you probably find in a business, but we are all educated on it all the time, multiple times per month, because it's obviously a very high stakes environment. But this book, on top of a team that doesn't know how to function without a direct leader, is super important, because it allowed me to come in and help guide my team to success and overcome a lot of challenges that we had along the way. So well worth it. I will say the only caveat to it is it is a little monotonous. It's not an adrenaline pumper. It looks like an adrenaline pumper. It's not an adrenaline pumper. This is a 1 or 2 hours per day book, maybe 3 hours, but you can see here it's a 9 hour and 33 minutes. It took me a few days to get through it, but it's great for the half hour to an hour I'm in the car. I definitely got a little tired after like 4 hours listening to it while I drive up to Long Island from Charlotte. And Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill, baby. Just a great book. 9 times out of 10, the main premise of this book, and there's a lot that goes into it, but the one thing that I found really valuable is success is literally right around the corner. And that could not be more true for sales, business ownership, MSP ownership. It does not matter, but there's always another door that's opening. I will happily mention that I made these MSP videos on accident and they got a ton of traffic. I said, let me just try to make more. I was literally tired of doing YouTube. I was tired of making videos that nobody was really watching. And all of a sudden I made one video and it got crazy attention. And I made a second one and a third one. And people have been lining up to work with me. People have been beyond interested in this online course. I literally mentioned it like 3 videos ago. And the amount of people that have registered for the wait list for the online course is astronomical. I appreciate all of you, but I was